What's going on, guys? This is my studio. See, I got dimmers on this thing because when you're jamming, you don't really want it to be the brightest room in the world. You know, this little corner doesn't get used extremely often, but when we have little jam sessions, you know, I always wanted to have a drum set up so that way we can just literally walk in here and play. You know, I think actually my wife, Jamie, when she first started taking drum lessons or showing interest in drum lessons, this is the kit that we bought. Got a little black and white wall to contribute to, well, it's just like I got inspiration from Chad Smith, actually. I need a lot more pictures, but, you know, kind of sets the mood. A couple old guitars. This one's pretty cool. This one here is something I got from Jamie's stepdad. I think he's the one that gave it to me. And I used to have a bunch of people sign this guitar. Like, that came and jammed over at the place, over at the house. Long story short, a couple kids ended up signing it that didn't know any better, and they scribbled all over everybody else's signature. So I sanded it all down to restart, and I just couldn't get rid of that bottom one. It's upside down. You can't hardly, I can maybe flip it in post, but it says Johnny Be Good. And that guy, he was the nephew of Chuck Berry. So when he signed that, I was like, well, that ain't going nowhere. That's super cool. You know, I got a keyboard set up. I don't really play keyboard at all, but it's just ready to go. And if I get a keyboard player that shows up, I used to have a solid door right there, but because there's no windows in this basement room, it literally felt like a prison for a while. So I was like, I got the solid door because it was supposed to, you know, be better for soundproofing, and it technically is, obviously, but I was like, I gotta have some natural light in here. Anyways, this is just a little spot for when I'm cleaning up the room, or so to say. It's my little filming corner, so it's kind of neat. I am extremely lazy when it comes to setting things up. Like, it takes me a long time to get the motivation to go and do that. So I got this permanent setup situation happening where I just got my stand with my light, my camera's mounted, plugged in with a dummy battery on both sides, that is. And this is where I shoot interviews.
Welcome to the jungle.
Welcome to the jungle.
That's
and I just use it for jamming too. Like, I usually have my pedal board. It's usually sitting right here. I'm playing through this Fender Blues Deluxe that my wife bought me. Thing sounds too good to let go of ever. Anyways, I wanted to show you kind of the whole reason of this video. Not really like a show and tell as much as it is like convenience. And so this is my computer. This is my little setup, you know. It's not much. I got a couple acoustic panels that I built in the back there. You know, a couple more right here. And then there's like a, you know, this kind of wall. It's like bounces off sound. That's the idea anyhow. But anyways, so here's my little setup, right? So I come in here, and like I said, I'm all about convenience, right? So I'll just flip this on first. This is my Clarett. And I plug that in first so that I don't get all these messages that says that my interface is changed. But my speakers, you know, each one of those are powered. And but what I have is this click on and off button. And down below here, don't mind all the cords and the mess, is a that right there. That right there, I have my speakers plugged into. So I can literally just sit down, turn them on, and we're rocking and rolling. This thing is another thing I was going to tell you guys about. This little Akai MKii Mini. I want to say this thing was like $200, maybe even cheaper. But man, do I think it's the coolest thing ever. And you know, when I go into GarageBand, you know, it's always wants me to pick what I'm doing here. So this is an empty project. So it's cool because, you know, you can change all of anything you want, you know, like it's just got endless sounds, you know? What's that called? Ice blinks? I don't know what any of that means. But another thing that's really cool about this, so right there, it's telling me that I'm playing a C. I'm sorry that's not wanting to come in very well. But it's telling me I'm playing a C. And then if I go, you know, there's an F, E minor, a C, A minor, A57. I don't know what that is. A57. Well, that's how you play an A57, in case you were wondering. Anyways, I think that's super cool. I think that's super awesome that they can do that. Like, even if I just take one of the fingers off, you know, like if okay, so here's an E minor. What's this? I took one of the fingers off, still an E minor, but what if I went the other way? E5. You know, that's really cool that they can figure that stuff out. You know, GarageBand is free. That means all these sounds that are in here are free. You guys should check that out. If you guys got a little home studio, I don't even play keyboards, I promise. I don't even know what I'm doing. I just figured out from literally that little spot right up here that tells you what you're playing. It's just like, you know, then I can write that down on what I created. So pretty cool thing to try out if you haven't gotten one yet. Again, it's cheap, you know, so it's fun. Even if you don't know what you're doing, like me. See you guys.